Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, or simply tied. Your soul medicine, it gets revived. The warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, it's friendly vibes. Your soul medicine will give you life. You're a warrior, let's get this right. Warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial. Warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, or simply tied. Your soul medicine, it gets revived. The warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, it's friendly vibes. Your soul medicine will give you life. You're a warrior, let's get this right. Warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial.
Welcome to Warrior Line Podcast. I'm Aaron Williams, your host. Warrior Line Podcast, Soul Tribe Assembly here with some another podcast, another episode of this podcast. Thank you for liking, subscribing. Please subscribe. I'm trying to build up my podcast and just share information with people who are, just going through just to be a soul tribe, to uplift one another in this life and the things we got going on. I want to talk about a fatal flaw. Many times I think people, when they're dealing with this country, we don't really understand history, and a lot of things people say are, I can't believe this is happening, and this is not America, and this is not this and this. No, this is who we are. It's who we've been, and we can't mature. The problem is we can't mature because we will not deal with the truth, and we will not analyze things and evaluate things based on truth, because we love our talking points, we love our think tanks, we love our white papers, we love all this stuff that really don't hit to the heart of the matter, and the DNA and the fingerprints of the DNA of this country and what it is and what we still deal with, things that we don't like to call what it is, and that's because we don't like to call things for what they are because it hurts us. We need the permission structure to feel good about ourselves and all our history without wanting to fundamentally recognize that we have a flawed history, just like that you and me and anybody who listens to this and anybody that's breathing right now have flaws. And it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to have flaws, because every human being that has walked this earth, that will walk this earth, besides one in my belief system is Jesus Christ, have flaws. But we seem to have in America a fatal flaw of getting enamored, caught up, led astray, hoodwinked by the fairy tale. We love the fairy tale because the fairy tale is our permission structure to feel good about something, that if we would stop feeling good about it and deal with it and not use psychology to try to play games with people and dismiss it and ignore it or make legend out of it, we can advance. I want to read some words from one James Baldwin. This is 1964. He's making a talk, and he's talking about the beginning of the country. This is what you won't hear in the mainstream. This is what you won't hear in school, because again, we love our fairy tales. Said these words, this is James Baldwin. But the people I am speaking of who settled the country had a fatal flaw. They could recognize a man when they saw one. They knew he wasn't, you can tell they knew he wasn't anything else but a man. But since they were Christian, and since they had already decided that they came here to establish a free country, and some of them really meant it, by the way, the only way to justify this chattel was playing in one's life was to say that he was not a man, because if he wasn't a man, then no crime had been committed. That lie is the basis of our present struggle. He said the only way to justify the role this child was playing in one's life was to say that he was not a man. Because if he wasn't a man, no crime had been committed. Do you really understand the meaning of this word? See, if I take your humanity from you then I'm not committing a crime by destroying you. And I need a permission structure to justify what I'm doing. So I'm going to say you're not a man. And we see this in our present day. Many people elected and voted for a criminal, voted for an invalidation of everything that we was raised to believe, because they need a permission structure. They need a permission structure that even the lowest person in the privileged group, which I'm not white, is better than a qualified black woman. Even though he's committed crimes, even though he's been impeached, even though he's desecrated the office, even though he's caused eruption to our democracy, our forms of government, our peaceful transfer of power, he's still better because of the privileged group that he finds himself in. He's still better than the black woman. So therefore, if we elect him, it's okay. We could do nothing bad, because even with all the evidence before us, even with everything that our eyes have seen, the January 6th, the insurrection, all what we've seen, the ugliness, the nastiness, the mean-spiritedness, all that we've seen, he is even the lowest of low. He's still in the privileged group. And therefore, if we elect somebody from the privileged group, it doesn't matter about the qualification for the person in the out group, because our permission structure says that's okay. I can make black men and women less than human. So therefore, I'm not committing a crime by enslaving them. I'm not committing a crime by stealing their children. I'm not committing a crime by beating them. I'm not committing a crime because they're not human. They're less than. See, it's okay, America, even though we elected this person who's not qualified, who's done all kinds of stuff, he is still better than the black woman, because he's in the privileged group. And we don't want to deal with this. They don't want to say, they want to come up with working class people. They want to come up with this messaging system. They want to come up with the Democrats should have done this, that she was done based on her very presence, because she is not in the privileged group. Lyndon B. Johnson said, if you can get the lowest white man to care more about his whiteness than anything else, that white man will vote against his own interest because of the privilege of being white. Go look it up. You don't believe me? Go look it up. It's right there. I'm not making it up. If you can convince the lowest white man, and in this country, you don't say it, but in that voting booth, it's all about your group. But he's done this. He's still in the privileged group. He calls it, he's still in the privileged group. He just got convicted. He's still in the privileged group. She's qualified. She's been the vice president. She got all these, but she's still not in the privileged group. And until we mature, until we ever grow up as a country, politically, morally, spiritually, humanly, this will always be our fatal flaw. This is the present situation we're in. Everybody want to make it complicated of the reason she lost. This is the same man that Joe Biden beat. What's changed? What's changed? Before Joe Biden beat him, there was no insurrection on January 6th. So what's changed? What's changed was the person running against him was not in the privileged group. And I'll close with this. We just had Dr. King Day on January 20th, this past Monday, January 20th. He said these words from a letter from a Birmingham jail. Groups are more immoral than individuals. And the privileged group rarely gives up their privilege without a struggle. You won't believe this, but people there, with all this madness and shock and all this going on, people out acting shocked, still are comfortable. Because in their heart of hearts, they say these words: at least he's not black. And they add to it now, and not a woman. This is a lie. This is our fatal flaw since the founding. And until we mature and grow up and deal with it, this will be our struggle.
Warrior Line, Soul Tribe, Assemblies Live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, or simply tied. Your soul medicine, it gets revived. The Warrior Line, Soul Tribe, Assemblies Live, this friendly vibe. Your soul medicine will give you life. You're a warrior, let's get this right. Warrior Line, Soul Tribe, Assemblies Live, so come subscribe. Your soul